Alright guys, so it has been a minute since I made a video talking about Genshin Impact, and if you guys are wondering, Faros, are you actually playing Notcray? The answer is no, I'm not. I just can't force myself to do it. But some of you guys wanted me to watch this video because apparently there is something going on with Durin's kit, and I'm pretty sure Durin is releasing in version 6.2, but there's some fishy stuff going on, and a lot of people are not happy about the recent information when it comes to Durin. So we're gonna go ahead and watch this video here made by Jello Impact. Let's see what he has to say.
Them with a grain of salt. Due to the multiple sources, the timing, and the sources themselves, I do believe that the information we have here will be mostly correct. There will be things that change, and every time I do one of these videos, I get comments saying, why are you doing this? It's too early. We have no idea what they're going to be. But the fact is, I made one of these videos for Nefer, Flins, Lauma, Escoffier.
Those comments are so cringe, man. Whenever, you make a video talking about like something going on with the character's kit, right? Let's say in Woo, right? I'm talking about, you guys remember when I was talking about Zani, or I'm talking about, and I'm like, damn, bro, they have this, 40% damage amp locked for shield characters only. Man, they need to change that. And some people, they respond with, oh, dude, the character isn't even out yet. They might change it, and boom, is out. They didn't change it. Zani's out. They didn't change the whole Spectral Frazzle thing. Videos like this are actually good because this lets the developers know, hey guys, you should not implement this in the game, because if you do, a lot of people are going to be mad, and this just comes off as pure greed. But of course, when it comes to Genshin Impact, whatever the devs do, it's perfect. They're gods. They can do no wrong. Everything they do is right because they're clearly making money off the game, and what they're doing is working. But yeah, those comments, they're just cringe. They just want to defend the game, cope whenever they say, dude, just wait till the character comes out, or just wait till the patch releases. Are you kidding me? Let's continue.
Skirk, Inefa, and Veresa, all at least a week or more before the kits were officially known or unofficially known, and they all aged really, really well. Actually, I don't know if I made one for Veresa, but we did have them. So yeah, this is just how it goes these days. We get the general kit information actually quite early. But even though I do think it is reliable, everything could still change. This is even a bit earlier than normal, so yeah, it could be different. And I will let you know if it is. Element, obviously Pyro, we knew that from his vision. Weapon is going to be a sword. This has been speculated for a long time now. The most interesting part here is the kit. Durin is allegedly going to be off-field pyro. One post I saw from different sources says that the skill will create the off-field pyro. One said that burst. I could see it going either way. I honestly
So creates off-field pyro, heals super strong off-field damage. Okay, so like a sub DPS. Reduces resistance for any elemental that triggers a pyro reaction 15%. And no lunar reaction. So he doesn't enable lunar reactions at all. Okay.
don't think it matters either way. Realistically, it would be nicer for it to be the skill, makes it easier to build, but usually burst animation.
Wait, what the hell is this here? 30% when having a Hexen Zircle member in party. Venti Albedo Mona Clear. What the hell is this? Wait, whoa. Hold up. Give me 1 second, guys. 30% when having a Hexen Zircle member in party. What the? We're doing faction-based restrictions now? Is that what we're doing now? Now I see why people are mad. What the hell is going on here? What is this? Hexen Zircle member? Albedo, are you serious? Venti, most of these characters are trash. The only character that might really benefit from this is Klee, to be honest. Klee is definitely going to benefit from this. But it's obvious that they're doing this because of Alice, because Alice is part of the Hexen Circle. And Nicole, she is also Hexen Circle as well. Bro, this is cringe, man. This is cringe. But let's continue the video.
Are really cool.
That's actually
and
cringe,
trend
bro.
of burst animations not being as useful to use these days, and I feel like Durin's gonna have a really nice burst animation.
Faction-based
so like for that
restrictions.
reason, it'd be kind of nice if it was the burst, but obviously skill would be nicer for a lot of other reasons.
This is the first time they ever did this.
And that it doesn't really matter though, for either way is whatever. Durin is going to heal. This is a bit surprising to me. This kind of calls back the original Bennett plus Xiangling leaks. that we were having. Healing would be big when we talk about his potential kit synergies.
Oh yeah, that is true. He does remind me of Bennett. He does remind me of Bennett. Yo, I just realized, man, this character might replace Bennett. About damn time, bro, because Bennett been broken forever. But he might replace Bennett, but still though, this faction based restriction is crazy, bro. Like this can actually hold Durin back. Cause what the hell is this? This is greedy as fuck.
This will help with Farina stuff. It'll also help being an actual Bennett replacement. People don't often talk about Bennett's healing, but being a sustain is very, very useful. Apparently super strong off-field damage. And this is what I've been thinking. This is the next off-field pirate character we get is going to, yes, have the application, but also going to actually do damage. This has been the nation so far of off-field damage, so I'm not surprised to see this at all. And the nice thing about off-field damage is that it will bring up old and new characters equally. When you get a really impactful buffer, it will benefit the characters with the highest numbers, aka Moika, Arlecchino, Skirk, etc. Not that Durin works very well with those characters in particular, but the idea is those characters have very high multipliers. Whereas super strong off-field damage, that can bring up a Klee, that can bring up a Yoimiya by using them on the same team. Obviously, it's going to be wheelchairing them, but off-field damage is more of an equalizer for more mid characters than a buffer, and a buffer accentuates the top end of character. Reduces the resistance for any element that triggers a pyro reaction, and vice versa, I assume, like a pyro reaction trigger.
And honestly, I think the reason why they wanted to, and listen, guys, this is not 100% confirmed, but if this ends up being in the game, they, you know what's crazy? The fact that it says no lunar reaction, I'm assuming that he's not going to enable a lunar reaction, right? Because he is a pyro character. So let's say he's not going to enable lunar vape or, I don't know, lunar melt, something like that, right? Or lunar burning. He's not going to enable those. So they thought, all right, man, since we're not going to give this character lunar reaction, let's go ahead and sneak in a faction based restriction so we can balance it out. This is crazy, bro. This company is insane, bro. It's like they can't even implement a character without putting in something greedy, something predatory. Because what's the point of this? Because there were so many opportunities that Hoyo they could have implemented a faction based restrict like the faction based system years ago. Because you have Adepti, you got Archons, you got you got a whole bunch of groups in Genshin Impact, right? You got the Fatui, a lot of groups, a lot of affiliations, a lot of factions. Why do it now? You see what I'm saying? Like, why are you guys doing it now? The only reason I can think of is because he can't enable lunar reaction, and this is like the first 5-star in Nodcrate that can't enable a lunar reaction. We're gonna trade that off with faction based restriction.
During a reaction with a different element. The other element doesn't have to be the trigger, and that'll be a 15% res shred, not a huge portion of the kit, but this will bump up to 30% if you have a Hexen Circle, and I know I spelled this wrong, but I don't care, member in the party. So, and the Hexen Circle members are Venti, Albedo, Mona, Klee, Kirara.
Okay, another thing too. How does Kiara have? What does she have anything to do with Hexen Circle? Because last time I checked, Hexen Circle is like the witches, not yeah, pretty much like witches, and they're not from Tevat. I don't know if they're from Tevat or not, but they're not even in Tevat right now. They're pretty powerful. You got Nicole, Alice, Ryan. Is it Ryan daughter? I don't know, but you got Mona's master as well. What the hell does Kiara have anything to do with Hexen Circle? I know Mona, her master, is from Hexen Circle, so that makes sense. Albedo, that makes sense. Cause you got Alice, and Albedo's pretty close to Alice. You got Klee, her mom is Alice. Venti, Venti's pretty close with Hexen Circle as well. But this makes no damn sense, bro. Kiara makes absolutely no sense.
And Varka. Most of these make some degree of sense to me. Venti has strong ties with Hexen Circle, so does Albedo. So does Mona, so does Klee, so does Varka. Maybe I'm just not up on my Kirara lore. That's kind of
Yeah.
insane. Not too many of these characters have the craziest synergy, or at least the current characters have the craziest synergy with this type of kit. And only 15% more res shred, I don't think is going to make the difference as to whether these characters are good on your team or not. It'll help using carry Klee, that's for sure, like Mono Pyro carry Klee, that's for sure. It'll make Venti more usable as a VV support, but then you're kind of stacking a crazy amount of resistance shred with not that much else to the kit, but it's something. It's something for Albedo. It's like you can kind of imagine.
Yeah, like I will say the resistance shred is not that much, but it's just the idea behind it that bugs me, man. You know what I'm saying? Like that's one of my main things. One of the main things I can't stand about Hoyo. they do these things where it's not that crazy, but it is crazy. The idea behind what they're doing is insane, right? For example, the level 100 thing, people were trying to dismiss it by saying, "Oh, it's not that insane. You're not gonna get a huge damage increase, blah blah blah, all of that." It's the idea behind it. They have so many options when it comes to making these decisions, right? The fact that you guys are making players go above C6 to unlock level 100 is insane. And then now we have this whole faction based restriction system where, yeah, man, when it comes to Durin, we know you guys want to use him with characters that you want on your account, but honestly, we don't give a damn about your account. We want you to use him with these characters only. It's just is insane. And I know that lore enthusiasts, they might excuse this. They're gonna be like, "Oh, this is part of the lore, so I think this is great. This is cringe, bro."
Instead of imagining this attached to Durin's kit, you can imagine the 15% attached to these characters' kit. It's like, how good would these characters be if they offered an additional 15% res shred? Venti, a little bit better, but still probably pretty mid. Albedo, same thing. Mona, that's pretty interesting. I could see this being kind of good for Mona for certain teams. Maybe Mualani teams in particular, I could see that being quite good for. Very interesting. Klee, be pretty interesting. And I have no idea what to do with Kirara here. And then Varka, of course, Varka for a future character, but I'm sure Alice and Nicole will join this list. So very, very interesting. Obviously, Durin is meant to be the best in slot support for Varka. This kit makes me think that it won't be a must-pull necessary support for Varka the way that Lauma is for Nefer, the way that Escafia is for Skirk, the way that's not to say that Varka won't have one of those characters in the future, and not to say that he won't be a best in slot support for Varka, but this hit doesn't scream Varka needs this or he'll suck to me, but we'll see. Who knows? We still don't have any information on what Varka's kit is going to be. And then Durin, apparently no lunar reaction in his kit, which this is already a lot. So like a lunar reaction on top of this would be surprising. I was sort of
Yeah,
thinking.
they're not dumb enough to do something like that where they're gonna put lunar reaction in his kit. If they did that, bro, just EOS at this point. EOS, because what the hell? You got lunar reaction, you got faction base restriction. Come on, bro. Off field damage, like. And the thing too is, Alice is nowhere near release. Like, she's probably gonna release in version 6.6. Who knows? So for them to like drop this, like a character like this so early, and like if you want to use him at his full potential when it comes to like this faction based restriction system, you got to put him with shitty characters like Albedo, Venti. No, Venti, I ain't gonna say he's shit. Venti is just mid, bro. Mona, you know what I'm saying? Kiara, like, what the hell does Kiara have anything to do with this? It's just weird, man. It's just so weird, and just why? Like, why do something like this? Why can't you guys just make a normal kit? What happened to making normal kits where I just summon for the character and I can just put them in the team I want to put them in? I can just play the damn game. Like, this is just cringe, bro. Like, when I get this character, now I have to be like, oh damn. Let me find my Hex and Circle characters. Let me put it with my Hex and Circle units. Let me build a Hex and Circle team. Like, what's next, bro? We gonna have a Conria team now? We gonna have a Celestia team? Like, wait, what is this, bro? This is weird.
Lunar Vape, but apparently the idea that Durin buffs non-Nodcry characters, we had someone predict that a while ago, so that seems to be more the direction they're going. It's kind of weird to me just because we're getting really Nodcry specific bosses, and they're not giving us all that many different types of Nodcry characters. They've sold us just basically 2 full teams and nothing more. So it seems to me like they should really be giving us, instead of fleshing out those teams so much, they should be giving us more variety to choose from. I don't know. Seems a bit weird, but let's.
Variety is literally like a foreign concept in Genshin Impact now. Like that was like the main thing I liked about the game, variety and team building. And now it seems like they're straying away from that. They're just moving away from freedom in this game. And now it's just about restrictions, right? You got boss mechanics that are extremely restrictive. You got elemental reactions. Elemental reactions were restrictive since day one. If you're gonna go up against a hydro slime and you're using hydro or you're cooked, same. But yeah, when it comes to elemental reaction, that's also restrictive. Like Genshin Impact, it was a restrictive game since day one, but it wasn't as bad. It was pretty tame. But now they're just taking it to a whole new level where now, even these characters, they're kids. It's like what's the plan here? You know what I'm saying? What's the plan? Like, imagine Snezhnaya. Just imagine what they're gonna do in Snezhnaya if we have faction-based restrictions introduced in the game now. That's insane, man. But let me see what else he talks about in his video. I mean, he's literally making like a tier list over here, but I don't think there's literally much for me to watch here. But yeah, like this is crazy, man. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Once again, this isn't 100% confirmed, but videos like that are good because if the devs see this video, they're gonna be like, all right, it seems like a faction-based system is not good, so we're not gonna put that in the game. But I doubt it because when it comes to these Genshin Impact devs, they do the complete opposite when it comes to feedback. They do the complete opposite. If I tell them, hey man, you guys should go left, they're gonna go right. Why? I don't know. But yeah, that's crazy, man. Faction-based restrictions are now in Genshin Impact. Wow. We'll see, man. We'll see what will happen in version 6.2. Because if this actually ends up being in the game, I can see 10,000 videos on YouTube that are gonna shit on this. Like, I can see a lot of people going crazy if this ends up being in the game. But I already know that some people are gonna defend it. They're gonna be like, oh, it's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. Same old, same old. But hope you guys have a good one. And I'll be catching you guys on the next one. Adios.